I'm Naeem Hussain, CEO of autom8. We're reimagining the way that software is developed. I'd like to introduce you to the function. The function is the smallest unit of value for any software product. A few lines of code that perform a specific task. String enough functions together, and you can build anything, from a simple app to a massive business. See, back in the 1980s, a developer's functions relied on entire mainframes in order to create any value. This was tough to do, unless you were someone like IBM. As a result, the software industry was worth about $15 billion. In the 90s, the PC operating system freed the function from the mainframe, reducing barriers to entry and boosting network effects. Companies like Microsoft took advantage, and the entire industry jumped to over $100 billion. In the 2000s, functions and software moved to the cloud, and by 2010, the API was born. Functions bundled together, not as static code, but as cloud-based running services. Today, the industry is worth over $1 trillion, and 25% of the world's internet runs through APIs. See, over the last 40 years, the closer we've gotten to the function, the more value has been created. And up until now, the closest we've gotten has been the API. But just think of where the industry could go if individual functions could be unbundled from the API. Why hasn't this already been done? Well, anything smaller than an API simply requires too much overhead to launch. These barriers are clipping the wings of the industry, locking up trillions of dollars of value until today. Decentralization and the evolution of cloud services are pushing the boundaries of what it means to be a function. autom8 is the world's first open function-as-a-service platform. For the first time ever, the moment you deploy a function, it's an open API by default, ready for anyone to use. Let's take a look at the platform in action. Here we have a user that wanted to get notified anytime one of their employees spent money from the company's account. So on one side, we have a notification app built using open source code and APIs. On the other side, we have the same app built using autom8. So as you can see, building this app typically requires a developer to import open source code, wrap third-party APIs, build, test, and deploy. You're looking at about 300 lines of code and 10 hours of work. With autom8, a developer can use existing functions to build the same app with only 40 lines of code in under 30 minutes. We just improved the efficiency and time to market for this team by 20x. That's powerful. Now watch what happens when you have multiple apps on the platform. Here are 3 apps, each built on autom8. Now any developer can reuse these functions to build something entirely new in minutes. What would these efficiency gains mean for your organization or your portfolio companies? By using autom8, developers can share ideas, not as static code, but as live running functions, ready for anyone to call, remix, or extend. autom8 functions can have wallets, allowing developers to get paid royalties every time their function is called. This better aligns incentives between code creators and code consumers. autom8 Community Edition is a free and open platform for all developers to use. autom8 Enterprise offers code performance testing, team management, private functions, and private cloud support for a recurring fee. Just 3 weeks ago, we launched our platform to a limited group of 50 developers. They've already written over 200 functions with 3,000 function calls to date and growing. We've recently partnered with Google, GitLab, and Casper Labs. And this month, we're teaming up with Oracle to introduce our platform to over 6,000 developers from around the world. We're an experienced team that knows how to scale companies. This is our second Techstars startup. The first we built from concept through to a recent exit while working together for over 5 years. Our world-class advisory board is made up of industry experts and serial entrepreneurs who are committed to automate success. The future of development is here. I'm Naeem Hussain. Please stop by our table and see how autom8 is the new face of software development. Thank you.